Great to have you with us. In our first story, government is urging Ghanaians to be calm as the Ghana Grid Company works to address the intermittent power outages being experienced in parts of the country. The Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, assures the sector is not in financial crisis, neither is the sector facing generation challenges. According to him, systems upgrade is responsible for the intermittent power outages. The minister spent time Tuesday at the Ghana Grid Company to acquaint himself with the progress of work to improve on the transmission lines to Achimota, Pokiase and Kaswa. There are fears that the most dreaded erratic supply of power, popularly referred to as Dumso, has returned. Since the beginning of 2021, parts of the country have always been plunged into a state of darkness, often without prior notice. The situation affects the everyday lives of Ghanaians, especially those who rely on electricity to run their businesses. But addressing the media after his tour, Dr. Prempeh called on Ghanaians to bear with the situation, assuring the power sector will be stronger after the works.
I think the issue of financial challenges doesn't even come in. You heard the chief executive say it. Because they are doing the project, we can all see. So what does finance come in? The people don't have money to buy lunch, or I don't know. But as far as we can see, the project is an ongoing project. So it's not about finances. It's just that if you are renovating your house, sometimes it's more complicated and it's more expensive than even building a new house. These are lines that we have just been informed were strung, some from 1950, some from 1965. The power it was supposed to transmit, Accra has expanded tremendously. So they are giving us power lines that can improve the power situation in Accra. We just need the forbearance of Ghanaians, because what we are planning and what we are implementing is the best for them. We should all be truthful in our communication. In 2016, the whole country, they gave us periods that we were off and we were on. In 2016, the government of the day told us that it was a generation problem. In 2016, even the opposition talked about the government don't have the money to buy fuel. This is not a generation problem. This is not about fuel. So how could it be Dumso? Dumso is planned and the timetable is rolled out. And it affected the whole country for 4 years. Is that what we are seeing? No. Some of the system, because of the challenges, the reason why the system upgrades are being done is what we are feeling. And so we have to bear with the contractors to finish in time so that we can enjoy the improvement we so desire.
So where are we in changing the obsolete transmission lines with new ones? And what is the guarantee that the power outages will stop when the transfer is done? Osu Efrie is the Director of Engineering with Gridco.
This project is expected to be completed by September 2021, all things being equal. If you do not have any hindrances, then we are going to complete it by September 2021. Whenever we are constructing a line like this, we normally meet some crossings like ECG lines, and also maybe sometimes obstacles like houses. But for the ECG line, because it is also an electrical system, we must make sure that we give an outage to be able to cross the line. If we do not do that, there will be an induction and people must suffer from that. And so if we go to a place called Ondoponglo Road, that's precisely around Magdan area, ECG have about 4 circuit lines which are crossing our lines. And therefore, when we reach that location, definitely we are going to request for an outage. And so all those people who are being served by these 4 circuits will be taken off for a period of time in order for the construction activity to continue.
So will there be some form of timetable?
Let's turn our attention from power to education. And the Ghana Education Service, GES, says it has rescheduled the reopening for senior high school SHS Form 3 students to May 5. In a Facebook post, it said this was after management considered a proposal from the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS. The service said this applies to all Form 3 students, that is single track and double track schools, and all other arrangements on the calendar remain unchanged. Last month, GES postponed the reopening for SHS freshers to March 18 through to March 21. Anthony Boateng, the Deputy Director General, in a press release said the action is to give students who have had issues with self-placement the time to complete the process. Also, he encouraged others who have not completed their school's admission process to use the extension to complete the process. The service added that the rescheduling would also help parents have adequate time to prepare their children for school, as well as give schools the additional time needed to prepare to welcome them. The GES has also urged parents to ensure that their children leave home with adequate nose masks to protect themselves amid COVID-19. All management of schools has also been tasked to ensure strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols. Yakub Abubakar is the president of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools, and he has been reacting to this development. Pardon me.
We drew attention of the GES management that given the numbers that we have in the school and with the break that we were going to attend, we suggested that they should let one batch of the Form 1s stay at home so that all the Form 3s could come to school. The Form 2 goal will also be in school, and a portion of the Form 1 that we can contain in the school, given the numbers that we currently have at our respective schools. Alternatively, we said they could shift the reopening date of the Form 3s further to the date that they have currently announced, the 5th of May, to enable us contain all the Form 1s that will be in school and then the goal Form 2 to move on. That way we can have the students in the school and be able to observe the COVID-19 protocols, because the congestion wouldn't have been a serious issue with us. We gave them the numbers and gave them the facilities that we had, and said that given the numbers of the students and the facilities, we were afraid there will be congestion in the system. And given that we are not in normal time now, it may create problems. So thank God, management too has gone through it, and finally they have heeded to our proposal, and they have come out with this new date. So the purpose of the date, therefore, is to help us address the challenges of congestion.
To some politics now, and Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu has cautioned his party, the NPP, to guard against selecting a third Akan candidate consecutively as internal jostling for who becomes flag bearer thickens. According to him, another Akan candidate will give credence to validation to the narrative about the party being biased toward the Akan tribe and does not value other ethnic groups. Host of the probe, MFR Powell, first asked him whether he is interested in the slot.
Well, I think that as related to a publication that involved myself recently, that Ben Epstein had said that it looks like Bawumia was going to have the nod, and if Bawumia had a nod, there are two persons who may contend and indeed perhaps contest for running mate, and he mentioned me and Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempe. And in my response, I think it was one of your sister stations that called me. And I said, look, these are too early days. They are too early days.
Are you not interested?
They are too early days.
Are you not interested?
You see, I responded, and then the next day, the newspapers captured it. That Chairman Zabo says that he's ready for the slot of the vice president. But
I am not asking about vice president. I'm asking, at least,
interested
in the big job.
In the big job. Oh, look.
But you're qualified.
I know that people who have served under me contested, even 2008, right? And I thought that if they qualified, way back in 2008, also qualified to contest. But as they say in Akan, that such a right? See, in politics, it's not always even the best who always win, right? People may come with their own energy, and to the extent that they're able to connect with the grassroots, right? They are the people that the people may vote for. Those people then will have the opportunity to surround themselves with people who have the relevant competences to assist in governance, right? So yes, inwardly, I know I also have the competence, but is it wise for me now, immediately after 2 Akans, Kufuor has been the president, Akufo-Addo follows from the eastern region, and there's a third Akan to follow. Doing introspection, I think, it may not bode well for a party that is accused by some as an overly Akanistic party.
Then you don't think that Alan Chemanting should be going
not everybody agrees with me. And that's the beauty of democracy.
Then you would support Bawumia then?
No, I'm saying not everybody agrees with me.
I asked a question. You would support the Vice President Bawumia if he decides to go because he's not an Akan?
Well, I've told you that these are early days.
Yes.
So...
But we're talking about the future.
Yes. In future, when I have to stick my neck out, I would stick my neck out. For now, I think these are too early days. We must be working towards, repositioning the party, right, to retain power. That's the most important thing. There shouldn't be any distractions.
Okay.
Look, we have climbed down from 169 members of parliament to 137. That should be our concern. Are we able to bounce back, which is possible because we bounced from 122 to 169. So we can easily climb up again.
What should change for that to happen?
Provided we are able, it would ensue from governance. What we are able to achieve in unison, without unity and united purpose.
But the party has a role. Under the current leadership, you think that can happen?
Under the current leadership of the party, why not?
You have confidence
they could.
In the crop of leadership that you have?
All those who are there were there when we won.
Should they not be changed?
I'm saying all those who are there were there when we won.
But you didn't perform
Blay,
well. You had 137 in
I'm saying
you didn't have a clear majority.
Freddie Blay was there, went from 122, we climbed up to 169. John Body was there, Samuel Wuku was there. I was there with them in the steering committee. So
you are confident.
So we must do serious introspection. I don't want any individual. Oh, it was the fault of John Bodu. It was the fault of the current chairman. It was the fault of Freddie Blay. It was the fault of Samuel Wuku. No. If we do that, we will not get anywhere. We must take collective responsibility. I know what I said in the lead up to the elections, right? The spirited effort that I put up. But sometimes, we are in a democratic party. The majority will not agree with you. So they didn't agree, we go into battle and we lose.
Now, a group calling itself People of Nzima in the Nzima Manle of the Western region are demanding the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment to withdraw the book entitled The Golden History of Ghana for Basic 6 pupils, published by New Golden Publication in Kumasi, or face the wrath of Nzimaland. The context of the book, according to the group, distorts history, belittles Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and brings his lifelong unmatched sacrifice and patriotism into disrepute. The group, which describes itself as a unified voice of chiefs and people of Nzima home and abroad, have threatened legal action against the publisher of the book. They say they have threatened legal action if the publisher of the book does not withdraw these publications immediately. Pardon me. Now, they are demanding an immediate withdrawal and destruction of the said books from all schools. There's more in this report.
Dressed in red war apparel, these men and women from the Nzima land surround the tomb of Ghana's first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, pouring a libation, invoking the spirit of the former president to deal ruthlessly with an author and publication house they believe is defaming his name through a history book for basic 6 pupils. Their faces filled with anger and disappointment, they call on the GES, NACA, and the President to ensure the new Golden Publications history book for people in Basic 6 is withdrawn and destroyed with immediate effect from all schools.
We, the youth of Nzima, the chiefs and the people of Nzima, both home and abroad, and the family of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, by this press conference, are convinced that the author of this history book, meant to be used for teaching classes people, is nothing but a carefully calculated mission to falsify world history, mislead future generations, and then lead the nation into a disunited Ghana. To this end, we call all peace-loving Ghanaians, relevant institutions, including the GES and the NACA, and ultimately the Office of the President of the Republic of Ghana, to prevail on the altar and the publishing house for the total withdrawal and destruction of such obnoxious publications without delay.
Addressing the media, President of the association, Nanamre Kukumi, said, evaluation of the textbook reveals a lot of inconsistency and inaccuracy in Ghana's history. He said the book's ultimate goal is to distort facts and revise world history aimed at defaming Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
The inconsistencies and contradictions in Madame Media's so-called history book can only be told to cartoon fantasy movie watchers. That's all. We are calling on the government of Ghana to liaise with the relevant stakeholders and institutions to criminalize the ban and then ban the sale, ownership, and possession of such publication, including the Golden History of Ghana, meant for Basic 6.
National Chairperson for the CPP, Nana Akosua Frimpoma Sapon Kumankuma, on her part said, even though the author has apologized to the CPP, they are not satisfied.
The position of CPP has clearly been stated. We had a conference about 2 weeks ago, and we vehemently opposed what has been done. Indeed, the publishers have come in to apologize. It's not enough. We'll respond to them next week. So CPP is not happy at all because we have been mentioned in the book. It's been clearly stated. The contradiction is clear, though.
For Joy News in Athalia Kwanza, Western Region.
Now, away from that story, 2 young men said to have killed a 10-year-old boy for rituals have been slapped with the charges of conspiracy to commit murder and murder. They said the said incident, which occurred at Kaswa Lamte in the Wutusenya East municipality of the Central Region, left many shocked as it emerged that they had wanted to use the boy for money rituals. Maxwell Agbagba is following this story for us and joins us with more. Maxwell, we understand the police have been telling the court about how the crime was committed.
Exactly, Daniel, and I'll be bringing you details of that shortly. But what is happening here is that we are the crime scene where the incident itself happened, and you can see quite a number of people are gathered here. Many of them still unable to wrap their minds around, exactly what happened. I want to take you to the uncompleted building where the incident itself happened. We can still see some of the things that were used in killing the deceased. So here you find a shovel, and we're told that this shovel was actually used in digging the shallow grave in which the 10-year-old boy was buried. And then this broken concrete blocks were actually, we're told, were used to hit the suspect, the deceased head many times, and that killed him instantly. Now, the head of that pickaxe you can see over there, we are told it had a club. Now that club has been taken to the Kaswa police station as part of evidence that will be admitted in court, but we are told that the club attached to that picker's head was also used in hitting the 10-year-old boy many times before he died. Now, this uncompleted building, I'll show you later, is very close to the home of one of the suspects. But I have with me here uncle of the deceased. We want to talk to him and find out from him how the family is taking this. Sir, you're welcome to join me.
Thank you very much.
Great. What's your name?
My name is Mohamed Danjuma Isaka.
Okay. Tell me, how is the family taking this?
In fact, we were told this morning that they've taken the case to court. And again, we've heard that they've adjourned the date to 21st of this very month. So we are appealing to the government to come to our aid for what has just happened to our sister and her child. In fact, the children are calling themselves as juvenile, but they are old. If they can do...
How did you know they are old?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, so... yes, that day here, one was telling... Nicholas was saying he's 19 years. And Anani's father confirmed Anani is 18 years. So I don't see this morning I've heard that they are saying the children are 15, 16 years. They are not 15, 16 years. They are 18 and 19 years.
Okay.
So a legal action must be taken against them.
Okay, I've seen the charge sheet. One of them on the charge sheet stated that it's 18 and the other, they said 16 years.
Yeah.
But you, the family, so aggrieved about this, and we've heard threats that if they are released by the police and justice is not served, you pick matters into your own hands.
No two ways about that. No two ways about that. No two ways about that. Because my sister is staying with them here, closely to them. He has been doing better things to them. So I don't see the reason why this dirty thing should be done against my sister. So the Nicholas' father, who did the marvelous job, his younger son, junior brother to Nicholas, came and reported the case to his father by saying, I've seen my brother and his colleague doing something to Ishmael as far as this uncompleted is concerned. So the father immediately waked up. He came to the room, then he saw blood with blocks. So the father was shocked and he went and brought his pickers, a shovel rather. Then he started digging the hole which was already dug by those guys who killed the child.
This is the hole they dug.
This is the hole which they dug. And according to them, they've already finished digging the hole before killing the boy. You see, so they buried him, and the father who came and found the boy buried saw the hand of the boy, so he shouted, and people came and helped him before they saw it clearly that it was Ishmael, my sister's son. So they brought him out, lying here, where we are here now.
Okay.
So Ishmael, so you can see behind this, my sister, the blood.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the blood. So the father, they brought Ishmael out from the place where they buried him outside here. So before I came, so when I came and met my sister's son lying here. So about 10-15 minutes time, then the peace officers came. There they came and took the corpse as well as those two notorious boys.
What kind of boy was the deceased? What kind of person?
Yeah, Ishmael is a very good boy. Yeah, and he has friends. And you see, living within your colleagues, you can never tell your son or your daughter not to have friends. You see, because maybe you, the parents of the boy, may not be at home. Something may happen to the boy because you've told him or you've warned people not to be close to your son or your daughter. Nobody can do something to you. So he's very free with everybody here. And you see, and the boy by the name Anani and his younger brothers, they've been going to my sister, helping them, food and everything. And even Anani's mother gave birth to a young, I don't know if a baby boy or a baby girl. According to the mother herself yesterday, telling us openly that she cannot say what my sister has done to them.
So the suspects were friends with with the deceased?
Not all of the suspects. Okay. One of the suspects by the name Anani.
Okay, he was friends with.
Yeah, no, his younger brothers are friends to Anani.
What class was Ishmael?
Ishmael is in class 4.
Class 4.
Yeah.
Which school?
No, the school is at Kasua itself because my sister sells food at Kasua Market. So the children are schooling closer to the place where my sister is doing her business.
A lot of people have described him as an intelligent child.
Of course, he's very, very intelligent. Even when he was called, he was in the room going through his laptop when they came for him. And he left before they came and did this job to him. So he's very, very bad.
Okay.
It's very, very, very bad. So we are again appealing to the government that we'll be very happy if we will hear that they've taken the boy to maybe life imprisonment or something like that. We'll be very, very happy. But we are still doing our investigation. When I hear that they've sent the boys to maybe Abofraboni or something like that, it will pain me. It will pain me because the legal action we are expecting for the government to take against those boys hasn't been taken.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
We have our condolences. Okay, so Daniel, so that's the crime scene, and then you also had my conversation with uncle of the deceased. Quite a number of people actually gathered here, and we are told that family members actually want to bury the 10-year-old boy today, but they're waiting to get clearance from the police. So many of them are gathered here. Quite a number of women are also gathered at the residence of the deceased, commiserating with the family. So this is the neighborhood. Now, you asked about the Kasua of Akko Court and what happened there today. Well, according to information that, according to the charge sheet and what police actually presented in court today, it is alleged that the two accused persons have for some time been watching television programs with spiritualists talking about the ability to make people wealthy. We are told that the two are said to have contacted a spiritualist in the Volta region who asked for an amount of 5,000 cedis and human beings for the rituals. We are told that they therefore armed themselves with a club, cement block, and laid siege at the uncompleted building that I just showed you. They lured the boy by saying they wanted to sell him a video game, and that the initial plan was to kidnap him and demand a ransom of 5,000 cedis. And we are told that when they realized that that couldn't work, they decided to kill him. So, Daniel, that's what is happening here at this point. So this is the family house, this is the residence of the deceased. Family members gathered here. I would have loved to take you to the room itself, but quite a number of people are there. It would be difficult to get access to the room itself. But all of these people are here to commiserate with the family. Quite a number of women are also in the building just very close, commiserating with the family here, Daniel.
Maxwell, thank you very much for bringing us that comprehensive report from Kasua. Do stay tuned to Joy News for the very latest on this story as it unfolds throughout the day. Let's move to other stories. And scores of residents at Achimota in the eastern region have been displaced after a rainstorm on Sunday evening. About 10 people also sustained severe injuries during the storm. The violent rains, which lasted just 30 minutes, wreaked havoc in the town. Several buildings, including schools and churches, had their roofs ripped off. Now, the storm also ripped off the roofs of residential homes. Many trees also fell onto the streets, causing road traffic. Joy News' sources indicate that 10 persons, including some senior high school students, sustained injuries and are receiving treatment at the Oda Government Hospital. This is Joy News Today with me, Daniel Daze. Up next is business. In business, the Member of Parliament for Ejiso constituency has instituted a microfinance scheme to help startups in his constituency. This is part of efforts to deal with the rising levels of poverty among the constituents. John Ampontia Kuma believes the program, together with other government initiatives, will wean some constituents off of poverty. Nana Aljima has more.
The Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty, or LEAP, is one of government's key programs to support the poor in society. The program provides cash transfers to poor households, including those with persons with disabilities and orphans. The 2021 budget statement increased beneficiaries to the program. Ejoso MP John Ampuntiakuma has lauded the increment, but says his office will have to do more to help reduce poverty among constituents.
It cannot cover all of them, so we still have to do something within our own strength to help our constituents, the little that we can also add to what government is already doing under the LEAP program. And of course, those of them that can trade too, we have a special program that provide microfinancing. We give a minimum of 500 Ghana cedis to support the micro traders amongst them. So today is just a donation, but we have a number of economic programs that we engage them from time to time to support them with little finances so that they can also do their own businesses.
The MP, visiting constituents in the Easter holidays, presented clothing and cash to widows and the aged. Over 500 persons in the target group benefited.
And it's also to wish them well in the year and to encourage them that I'm aware of the numerous economic challenges, and we have so many programs lined up to help cushion the situation in our constituency. So this is just a kind gesture to first of all meet up with my constituents and to help those with the little that I can raise for them.
Now, big news in the tech world. LG Electronics says it would close down its loss-making smartphone business. In January, the South Korean electronics giant said it was looking at all options for the division after almost 6 years of losses totaling around $4.5 billion. LG had made many innovations, including ultra-wide-angle cameras, rising to the third largest smartphone maker in 2013. But bosses said the mobile phone market had become incredibly competitive. Just how tough was the competition for LG smartphone business that it has decided to opt out? My colleague Darryl Kwao asked the host of Geek Squad, Kobe Spikey Nkrumah.
The competition has been very tough. For some years now, LG has been struggling to make sales, with competitors like Samsung and Apple in the industry. It's been very difficult for them to match up to those competitors. And clearly they have some very good devices, but one would say what happened to the likes of Nokia, Motorola, and Sony Ericsson, it happened to them, and even HTC is happening to them.
Well, being number 3 on the market is not bad. I guess the losses were not helping. So is it the case we're not marketing well enough? What was it about the smartphones that really didn't catch on?
They were actually doing well in the lower markets, not in the mid-range and the high range. But being number 3 doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually even making money. Number 1 is probably taking 40% of the pie, and then number 2 takes about another 30%.
That makes sense.
What's left is just about what you call 30% for everybody else to share. And it's a huge market out there. You have competitors like Xiaomi and Huawei in China, where the population is actually huge, and they would rather purchase natively owned businesses like Huawei and Xiaomi and even Oppo and Vivo. So LG was really having a hard time.
And that's it for business for today's Bulletin of Joy News today. Up next is sports with Muftau Nabila.
Good afternoon and welcome to sports segment on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Legon City's head coach Bashir Hayfors wants the Ghana Football Association to select specific venues for league matches because many are unconducive for association football. According to him, football in the country will reach its apex when the facilities are good to host matches. Brekum Chelsea had to relocate their venue to the Nana Ajimambedu Park in Doma following the decision of the club licensing committee of the GFA to suspend the Golden City Park indefinitely. The first game the venue hosted saw the 2012 CAF Champions League participants defeating Legon Cities by 2-1. Head coach of Legon Cities, Bashiru Hayford, is unhappy with the state of the playing surface and has called on the Ghana Football Association to choose specific venues for league matches. In the second half, Legon Cities appeared to have had a penalty call and what looked like a genuine goal denied by Midday referee. Bashir Hayford alleged that the referee was threatened by the home fans. Chelsea will continue to play their matches in Doma until such a time the licensing committee of the GFA reinstate their license after revoking it prior to the end of the first round. President of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Ben Nunu-Mensah, has promised to complete the construction of an Olympic sports complex in Amasaman to aid the grooming of young talents in various sporting disciplines. Ben, who was given a second tenure as leader of the Olympic Committee, believes such infrastructure are required to enhance the growth of sport. In 2019, the Olympic Committee President Ben Nunu-Mensah revealed funds has been secured for the completion of the Olympic complex at Amasaman. The project, when completed, would serve as a center of excellence for the youth across the country. After securing the mandate of delegates to steer the affairs of the committee for the next 4 years, Mr. Nunu-Mensah promised the project will be completed latest 2024.
You know, we just got a documentation for Amasaman. That's one big project that I think that in the next 4 years we need to work on. Amasaman is going to be an area or a stadium not for elite athletes, but it's a stadium where our young and juvenile athletes can go and then discover their talents, and then they can be molded into national stars. So with us acquiring the document or acquiring the land officially from government, IOC has already, or ANOCA has already promised to invest $150,000 now into the project. So Amasaman will be one area that we need to see a lot of acceleration.
Ben Nunu-Mensah reiterated his desire for the Olympic Committee to support all national federations to make them financially independent to ease the burden on the state payers.
Our support for the national federations must increase. Yes, people are saying we've done so much for the national federations, you know, unlike maybe 4 years back when there was nothing from the GOC going to the national federation. For me, I still think there's more that we can do, especially from sponsorship, from ANOCA grants, from IOC. We also need to work hard and make sure that the national federations are self-sustaining. We can't leave funding of our sports only on government or the ministry. And as has been my policy in my first term, that once the ministry is doing one bit of the work, we also need to do the other bit. So wherever the national teams have to travel, I think it's our duty as an Olympic Committee to also make sure that we are impacting, or like we did for them, like, you know, boxing wouldn't have qualified for the Tokyo Games if we hadn't come on board and given them some money. So support for the national federations are going to increase.
The GOC is the body mandated of ensuring Ghana's participation in Africa, Commonwealth and Olympic Games.
Let's get on with the news. And he was arrested for stealing a motorbike, but 22-year-old suspect Isaac Larby stunned the Kwabenya police when he announced he had also killed his wife, Akosia Abigail, aged 20 years. He claims a misunderstanding between them led to him killing the wife, but he was being haunted by her ghost. The police quickly followed up to Onakwase in the company of the suspect to identify the location where he dumped the body. Here's Public Relations Officer of the Kwabenya Police, Francis Gomado, giving details of the incident.
Suspect Isaac Larby, 22 years, further confessed to the police that he killed his wife, one Abigail Akosua, aged 20, out of misunderstanding that ensued between him and the wife at Onakwase, and dumped the body elsewhere near a refuse dump about 3 weeks before his arrest, and that the spirit of the late wife was haunting him. Police, upon this confession statement, took suspect Isaac Labi to Onakwase village to confirm the story. On reaching Onakwase township, and upon seeing the suspects in the company of the police, a mob of irate youth threatened to lynch the suspect. So the police quickly retreat to base in order to prepare adequately to visit the crime scene again for further action. On the 4th of April 2021, which was yesterday, the police reinforcement team, together with the suspects, Isaac Labi, went to Onakwase to retrieve the body of the deceased, Abigail Akosua, which was dumped near refuse dump. The suspects took the police to where he dumped the late wife.
Away from that story, Muslim clerics are encouraging Muslims to register their marriages because it's part of the tenets of Islam. Citing the Holy Quran, Ashanti Regional Chief Imam of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Sheikh Dr. Ismail Said Adam, emphasizes the need for Muslims to urgently register their marriages. He says, chapter 2, verse 282 of the Quran says, when you deal with each other in transactions involving future obligations in a fixed period of time, reduce them to writing. Let a scribe write down faithfully. As between the parties, let not the scribes refuse to write. As Allah has taught him, so let him write. Let him who incurs the liability dictate, but let him fear his Lord Allah and not diminish anything of what he owes. Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
Islamic marriage is regarded as a social agreement and legal contract. The marriage contract is signed in the presence of an Islamic judge, imam, or trusted elder with knowledge of Islamic laws. The married couple must consent to the marriage both orally and in writing. Ashanti Regional Chief Imam of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Sheikh Dr. Ismail Said Adam, says the only time a man can be with a woman is when they are married, and therefore it is necessary for them to register their marriage.
Because they don't know. Even in the Holy Quran, Allah Almighty said, and Surah, what do you call it, Surah Al-Baqarah, there's a chapter 2. He said that وَإِذَا تَدَايَنْتُمْ بِدَيْنٍ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ. He said that فَاكْتُبُوهُ. Even when you are taking something from anybody, you are getting debts, or you are renting something, or whatever you do in this world, if between you and the person, try to write it down. Get certificate, so that it indicate that what you are doing here, it will not be ending here. It has a future. Because human being, you can just now depart from this world. When you die, what are you going to show that you have done something? This is two married couples. When you are traveling, one of them can die. What show that this is your husband or your wife? If I give the certificate, there is going to indicate, and it's in Quran. Because we don't do it, it won't mean that it's not in Islam. That is its original Islam. But
Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah faith has initiated a program to issue marriage certificates to married Muslims across the country. Here is the Deputy National Chief Imam, Sheikh Mohammed Kamil Mohammed.
Because now, many times when our people, when they are traveling, when they are going somewhere, they have to be asked, where is your certificate? Or sometimes when, even they don't see that our marriages, they don't hold it as a good marriage. So we want to let everyone know that it is in Islam that when you marry, you have to get a certificate for your marriage, so that when it is day for maybe divorce, we can know that this is his wife. Then we can issue an certificate to, so that when we get to court, nobody can interrupt us, because that is what is happening.
Sheikh Mohammed encourages Muslim Ummah to take advantage of the situation.
Muna shaidawa cewa babu wani sarki abin bautawa da gaskiya sama da kasa face Allah.
According to the leadership of Ahlus Sunnah, registration and acquisition of marriage certificates are not innovation but on the path of Islamic religion. They expect to see future married couples with evidence of marriage in written form as required by Islamic religion.
We are doing it, but it is only it is in Accra. It is on the only the headquarters. But we are now segregated to the whole regions. We want to segregate to the whole regions so that every region we will give them the forms. Immediately you have your marriage, you fill the forms, send it to the headquarters, then they send a certificate to you.
Sheikh Mohammed says every Muslim across the country can walk into their offices, pick up forms and register for the marriage certificate. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
cewa